Hi everyone, welcome to this short tutorial related to online portfolios. I'm Professor Karen Daly. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Information Sciences, the Catholic University of America, and I'm here to introduce you to the basic principles, some general guidelines that are related to creating your online portfolios. And online portfolios are essentially your culminating experience in a program. Up to this point, we used to have comprehensive exams. However, starting fall 2026, comprehensive exams are going to be replaced with online portfolios. Now, if you're just starting your program in the fall of 2026, online portfolios are going to be your only option for the culminating experience. If you started the program prior to that, you will have a choice. You can definitely opt for taking comprehensive exams. However, you can also switch to online portfolios. So it really depends on when you started the program. Now, at this point, I would like to take you through some general guidelines. And my presentation, my recording, is going to be followed up by part two, which is going to be recorded by Dr. Maria Mazenga, who will introduce you to how to enter specific artifacts, specific information into your online portfolios. For now, let me just get to the basic guidelines and show you first and foremost how to navigate to online portfolio guidelines and where to find them. So let me just share my screen real quick. You can start on the departmental website right here. Go to academics, scroll down to courses, and then scroll down until you see comprehensive exams, online portfolios. And once you're here, you will see instructions for online portfolios, and they will come up as a PDF document. So I will stop sharing for a second and share another document, which is essentially the same PDF, except this one is marked up and it's easier for me to show you what I would like to show you. So first and foremost, why are we doing online portfolios and why are we switching to portfolios from comprehensive exams? Since it's your culminating experience in the program, we really would like to prepare you for the job market. And online portfolios essentially help you to create your professional online presence. They help you to connect skills that you've learned in the classroom to the requirements of the job market, to the competencies and qualifications that are valued by the American Library Association, and by extension, by all sorts of libraries, archives, information and cultural heritage organizations. So we'd like you to take stock of everything that you've done in the program and figure out which accomplishments actually represent you best on the job market, which ones will allow you to put your best foot forward. So that's the rationale and the idea behind online portfolio. So it's really a very practical culminating experience. Timing. When are you going to do this portfolio? Well, different folks do it differently, but starting early has its own pros and cons. We don't recommend starting like really super duper late because it will put you at a disadvantage. But sometime between um, the mid semester in your second semester before graduation and the beginning of your last semester, that's kind of the sweet spot that is probably going to help you, on the one hand, choose your best work because you know the totality of what you have done in the program. On the other hand, it will leave you enough time to get feedback, to revise, to revamp your work and present, probably the best digital product you can. So talk to your academic advisor. And this is something that I really cannot emphasize strongly enough. Uh, these guidelines, as you can see, are very detailed. And that is because we would like you to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, And if you'd like to complete it practically independently, you certainly can, but we are not leaving you to your own devices. Your academic advisor is going to be there every step of the way. And if you have any questions, if you just would like to brainstorm something, if you would like to get good ideas or some suggestions, they will be available for this kind of engagement. So we really are hoping for some collaborative work. But if you would like to be independent, you can definitely be independent because guidelines are very, very detailed. Now, we cannot mandate that these portfolios be in the public domain. This is your decision. If you don't want to keep it in the public domain for whatever reason, you just need to provide access to your academic advisor for the purposes of evaluation. And then you can do basically whatever you'd like. However, we hope that you will create a nice, useful, representative digital artifact that you will be happy to share with your potential employers and with the professional LIS community. I already mentioned that you will be helped by faculty members, you will be helped by your academic advisors. And in terms of technology, please choose whatever you feel comfortable with. CUA gives you access to Google Sites. However, you really have to be careful about whether or not you're going to have access to this website after graduation. And if not, then maybe it's not worth investing in this kind of a platform. If you would like to use it in the future, kind of, in perpetuity, for the purposes of job searching, then definitely it's worth having something of your own. Now, choosing the platform, pay attention not only to technical capabilities of the software you choose, but also to privacy issues. You are information professionals. Inquire about privacy issues related to the software you choose and make an informed decision. Now, coming to the heart of this portfolio, what sections are supposed to be included? What do we expect? First and foremost, there is an introduction. The introduction is your chance to give a brief kind of, elevator pitch about who you are as a professional, a little glimpse into who you are as a person as applies to the workplace, and what your aspirations and goals are in terms of your professional employment or engagement in the future. Now, you can combine sections 1 and 2. You can separate them out if you'd like, to make something specific out of it. It can be a written paragraph, or some folks just create a brief video introduction. Some people have a written paragraph and an audio file. Some folks use a photograph embedded in their website, whatever you want. It's really about who you are, how you choose to represent yourself, and how you choose to share with the world. Anything related to your qualifications, your aspirations, your dreams, and so on. So that's kind of number 1. Number 2 is your resume. Your resume is supposed to be part of your portfolio, and there are different ways to make your resume look and feel and read professional. First of all, you can consult with your academic advisor. You can also consult with the folks practicing professionals in the field. Many of your classes will invite guest speakers, and those people are usually fantastic. They're fantastic mentors who practically never decline to look over somebody else's resume, especially an emergent professional. So please reach out. Please get some feedback on your resume. And also don't forget that your student organization holds resume workshops. Inquire whether or not they have them. Attend, if it's convenient, if it works with your schedule, and get some feedback on how to create a winning resume that will make your skills and knowledge stand out on the job market. That will really help your employer say, hey, this individual is very interesting. I'd like to talk to them a little bit more, and invite them for the job interview. So that's kind of, the idea behind it. I'm not gonna go over all these details of the resume. They're very specific. If you follow these guidelines, your resume will already enjoy a great deal of improvement. But one thing that I wanted to mention is that make sure that if your resume is in a public domain, do not include any personal information like your home address or your personal phone number. Be safe online. That's what I'm trying to say. And then we're coming to the heart of these portfolios, which is your representative coursework. Now, we require 9 artifacts. This is what we are going to evaluate. You're absolutely allowed to have more, but we need at least 9. We ask you to include at least one representative assignment from each of the 4 core courses that you're going to take in the program. Like I said, you can have more, but 4 is a minimum number. And then choose 5 elective courses that really represent who you are, that really allow potential employers to see that, hey, you know, this individual is really great at cataloging or collection management or reading promotion or creating audiovisual materials, whatever the case may be. So 9 artifacts, 5 from elective courses, 4 from core courses. That's your mandatory requirement. Now, like I said, you can include something else, additional stuff, something from your practicum courses, something from your internship courses, something from your volunteer work in a library or an archive or another information organization. They will create a more comprehensive, holistic picture for your potential employers, but your advisor is going to evaluate only 9 of them. And really, choose whatever represents you best. How should you format your entries? Well, this is what Dr. Mazengo is going to talk to you about, using specific examples, and not only examples of traditional papers or paper-based products, but also examples that are more digital and even physical in nature. For my part, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. When you're creating these entries, we'd like you to put them in a broader context of what you're doing in the program. First of all, we'd like you to think specifically about the skills and knowledge that you have acquired while doing a specific assignment, right? Second of all, we'd like you to relate this knowledge and skills to several competencies, professional competencies that are valued by the program. And if you click on this link, you will be able to go to these competencies and take a look. So please kind of, work with several documents at once. Work with this list of professional competencies, look with these portfolio guidelines, and something that will definitely help you contextualize each assignment. Your course syllabus. Don't forget to use your course syllabus because course syllabi are incredibly helpful in describing your assignments, rationale, the skills that you're supposed to learn, how you're going to benefit from this assignment on the job market, right? So let me show you one example very briefly. So this is an example of a syllabus from one of my courses, the Reading Experience in Libraries, Archives, and Museums. Do not intend to make you dizzy, but going to go very quickly to page 19. Okay, already passed. So where is page 19? Here's page 19. And on page 19, there is a description for assignment 1, which is a book trailer. So it's going to be a digital audiovisual output. It's not a paper-based product, but as you can see, there is a fairly detailed description of the purpose and different steps. And if you read through it, you will realize what you're supposed to learn, what you're supposed to take out of this assignment, and how you're supposed to implement it in the field of practice, right? So read this information, derive whatever is relevant for your brief description, and then put it in your online portfolio. So again, work in tandem with all these three documents: portfolio guidelines, professional competences on the website, and then course syllabi from the courses that you choose to cover. So let me just go back for a second to our marked up guidelines. This is where I stopped, and I already talked about optional things. Procedure. Read this procedure very carefully, and most importantly, depending on which semester you will be completing your portfolio in, figure out all the specific dates and timelines. Don't forget that this is a course. You will need to register in this course. You will need to enroll in this course. It's not just kind of a casual engagement. And I'd like to highlight some important difference between comprehensive exams, if they are relevant to you, and online portfolios. With comprehensive exams, you could take them in the same semester as other courses, or you can take them separately once all the coursework is completed. That's not the case with online portfolios. You do not have an option of doing an online portfolio independently of your courses. You must complete your portfolios in the last semester in the program as you're taking your courses. You don't have an option of completing your courses, let's say, in a spring semester and then doing your portfolio in the summer. We will not allow for this. So please be mindful of this change, especially if you kind of, started the program earlier and you're thinking, okay, I don't know what to do, comps or portfolios. Quite different in this regard. If you're not clear, talk to the department chair, talk to your advisor, clear it out. So your last semester, the first draft of the portfolio will be expected by your academic advisor in week 4. The advisor will provide their feedback, and the revised draft is going to be due in week 7. And then the final evaluation will come in week 9. So there is a very good chance that by week 9 of your last semester in the program, you will have your passing grade for the portfolio. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a cushion here, right? The semester is 14 weeks. We plan to complete it in week 9. Unexpected circumstances, you need a little extension here and there, something happens, too many revisions requested, so on and so forth. So you have some wiggle room, right? But do not procrastinate because you don't want to go down to the wire with your deadlines, all right? So again, how we evaluate each artifact is going to be transparent. We will tell you if it passes on the first try. Not yet. What is not yet? Not yet is essentially when we request some revisions, right? So we will just wait until you revise it and we will evaluate it again. Fail is if it's really terrible and you don't do much about it. And that brings me to a really crucial part about portfolios. Portfolios are really intended as a low anxiety engagement. It is a very useful assignment because it prepares you for the job market, but it is also very hard to fail portfolios. The only instance when you will fail the portfolio is when you really don't care about it, which means you don't care about how you're going to look on the job market or how you're going to look to your potential employers. So if you invest, if you care about the quality of what you do, about how you're going to present yourself as a professional to the LIS community, then there is very little chance you're going to fail the portfolio. Like I said, it's practically impossible. So I'd like you to think about it as a preparation for the job market. And I'd like you to stop worrying about it as a school assignment that you might fail. Just invest. Invest in your own professional future, in your own professional online persona, in your own professional online presence, and everything should be fine. So that essentially completes what I wanted to share with you. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your department chair, whoever it happens to be at the time. Please reach out to your academic advisor and work with them on kind of on an ongoing basis. And please listen to the wonderful part 2 of this tutorial, which is going to be recorded by Dr. Maria Mazenga. Thank you so much, folks. Good luck.